story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful SnodaReel. I'm your host, Black Chef 56, and I'm of course joined by one of our other newcomers as well. You may know him on TikTok as TheRealCinephile, or as we have come to know him through Discord, Dropman George. George.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we've been trying to get this going for this ball rolling for about a couple weeks, but we're glad we finally got you.
Awesome.
All right. And of course, like always, we're joined by DJLionheart, aka Leon.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And yet, once again, he's actually staying pretty consistent. He may or may not actually get a promotion. I don't know yet. Of course, we're talking about Watsonandoff, John.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So the subject of tonight's SnodaReel is we're going to talk about 80s comedies all the way up to
90s. It was 90s.
Was it 90s? Because
Yeah.
I looked at the original thing and it said 80s. So
I believe I had it as 90s to early 2000s.
okay, so 90s to early 2000s classic comedies. So I can, if we're talking 90s, I can immediately tell you freaking Scary Movie. I feel like is a classic. At least the first two.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
two.
the first two. I remember watching at least the first four. After that, I kind of dropped off.
I watched 5 and then I stopped. And granted, I think they stopped after that, but I watched 5 and I was like, this is not as funny as the other ones were.
I don't remember if the scary movies were. I think they continued, but they weren't the scary movies anymore. It was. I don't remember if like Meet the Spartans, Epic Movie, Disaster Movie.
That was
think
just
those were made by the same people.
No, they said like two of the 5 producers behind Scary Movie. That was their big thing. But no, that was done by, I forget who those were done by, but Disaster Movie is god awful. Date Movie is actually not half bad. I've actually seen it. It's got some funny moments. Epic Movie is terrible. As Meet the Spartans is, I don't even know what to categorize that as.
When it comes to those slapsticky kind of movies, like Scary Movie, I liked.
Yeah.
And we got our big introduction to Anna Faris through those movies.
Oh, yeah.
Where
fucking love her.
Yeah, and she's hilarious through and through. Like, she's just that person.
Yeah.
And she's a very goofy, off-the-wall kind of person. So those movies were a perfect fit for her.
Absolutely,
yeah. For sure.
And of course, you also had the Waynes a part of that as well, which, you know, love or hate the Waynes, you at least got to admit they found their niche and stuck with it. So, you know, there's that behind them as well. And that's where the third one was sorely lacking, was the Waynes didn't show back up. And you could clearly tell it was a different group. But I would argue Scary Movie 3 is like the last halfway passable one. You know, it's like, it's decent. It's not great, but it's decent.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that.
I mean, Scary Movie 2 definitely had one of the most iconic scenes in any comedy, which was grab my strong hand. It's my strong hand. It's just like, dude, that's really so bad. It's so messed up. But
yeah, definitely. One of my favorites. Another big movie that I really enjoyed. Granted, I didn't watch it till later because it was not child friendly, and also thinking like I literally just watched it not too long ago. If it was remade, it would not go over well. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I have that on my list.
That's one of my favorites. I grew up watching that as a kid, and I never understood. I'm like, what's the whole point? I'm just here for Jim Carrey at this point. And then I watched it as an adult. I'm like, holy shit! How did they get away with some of that stuff? Like, Jesus.
It was like the mid-90s when that came out. Like,
oh man,
it was okay. Like, it was okay, but also not okay. But it was still like a fresh thing. Nowadays, dude, oh god,
he found Captain Wiki.
It was a completely different time. So, like, we weren't, really in those conversations yet as a society. So that was just funny at that point. And now I'm like, oh, Jim.
Yeah, that one Jim Carrey movie did not age well.
Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. I would argue the vast majority of that movie does age okay. It's just that
it's
one
just
part.
the one part with the one
it's
character.
The major twist.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of falls apart on like how good or bad it ages. Now, I would argue the second one is more slapsticky, which is fine. I don't hate the second one. I actually enjoy the second one. But I would definitely say,
not till very recently watched the second one.
Yeah. You can tell like night and day difference. Don't get me wrong. The second one has one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen, which is Ace getting out of the
rhino.
Rhino.
Yeah,
oh my god!
He's crawling out of that. Like,
that was
like
freaking hilarious.
The Jeep comes by.
Yeah,
like,
they're on a safari. Oh look, it's the beauty of birth, and then
it's just him. I was like, ah.
Oh, of course, my other favorite one is whenever he gets 2 spears to the legs, he goes, ah, ah. I would argue that one actually still ages fairly well. Like there's some like stereotypical African tribe stuff, but I'm like, it's a goofy movie. Obviously, you're gonna go over the top with it. So I would still argue that's one of my favorite like a glove moments is whenever he's like the freaking the Jeep is like just tumbling and then it just lands and he's like, like a glove.
I just saw this and it made me feel really old. I was looking at like the top 50 comedy movies of 90s, early 2000s. I didn't realize the South Park movie came out in 99.
Yes, it did. I still would argue that is some of the best South Park writing for about a half an hour.
Oh no.
No, like definitely some of the later end of it is still really good, but like you do start to get kind of little, all right, come on, let's get to the stuff that we really came here for. And it does start to drag a little bit. Moments. It's not even the cringy moments, it just drags just a smidge.
That movie was the best experience to go and see in a packed theater.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
No, it was so good. Me and my buddy, we were huge South Park fans to begin with. We went into a packed theater and we watched all these families come in with their kids. And we were like,
oh god.
It was opening night. So, these parents, because, the internet's not that really, it's there, but they're not paying attention. And so not everybody's on social media yet. MySpace isn't really a thing yet. So, people aren't interacting. And Uncle Fucker starts off the fucking movie. And you just see like all these parents and their kids starting to make a mass exodus out of the theater. And me and my buddy are just sitting there just laughing our asses off.
Oh
like,
my
this
God.
is the best thing in the world. And then for some reason, some kids and parents stayed. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was one of two things. It was Saddam Hussein and the devil having sex, or the clitoris.
The fact that some families stayed that long, that freaking that kills me. I love that.
But when it got that far, I was like, so that was the last straw. That was the thing that you were like, this is too far.
Oh, come on.
What? That a lot of them were thinking like, well, we already paid for the movie ticket, so we're gonna see. Like, it can't get much worse than that,
It's South Park, man. You never say that and expect to make it very long.
No way.
No, man, I love that movie. What's funny is I knew of South Park as a kid, but of course I wasn't allowed to watch it. So of course I fucking watched it, because that's what you do when you're a kid. And what was funny about it is I never got half the jokes, and then when I became a teenager, I was like 13 or 14. I asked my uncle who had the movie. I was like, can I watch this? He's like, dude, I don't give a shit. And I go, okay, cool. And so I watch it, and I never have laughed so fucking hard.
Right?
I love that movie. I still own that movie because I went out of my way to go get a copy of it. I love the movie. And you know what's funny is they were originally going to call it All Hell Breaks Loose. But then the studio was like, no, that's way too far. When I would argue bigger, longer, and uncut sounds 10 times worse, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, most infamous thing about this movie that I know. The MPAA, and I think they still have it, they have a thing where you can only say 300 F-bombs before you get an X rating, right? You know how many freaking F-bombs they have in that goddamn movie?
Probably 299.
299. You bet your ass. There's exactly 299 curse words and F-bombs in that movie. And there's a whole song dedicated to saying words that are not the cuss words, and they repeat the goddamn cuss words. Oh my god. I still think Trey Parker and Matt Stone are some of the best entertainment wise right now. And of course they're still going strong, and I fucking love it. But I was gonna say another, like, I would say staples of 90s. It was kind of like the dying out of Mel Brooks, but I still argue Robin Hood Men in Tights is freaking hilarious.
Oh yes,
I love that movie.
Fucking love
Absolutely, yeah.
Fucking love
it's
that
not
movie.
his best. I would argue probably one of his best is it's a tie between Spaceballs and Young Frankenstein. I still think Young Frankenstein is heavily underrated. That movie is hilarious.
Spaceballs and Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah, no, I would that actually those are my two, is Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. I love Blazing Saddles. Could never be made again today, but I love Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna dip back in time a little bit, one of my all-time favorite comedies, and I mentioned this earlier to somebody else, is Raising Arizona by the Coen brothers.
Oh shit, I know that movie. I haven't seen it all the way through, but I know of it. It's Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Yeah, and John Goodman and Holly Hunter. And,
yeah.
That does sound like a good movie.
Yeah, it's a comedy movie with heart.
There you go. I mean, what else can you ask for?
It's so ridiculously over top. It's Coen brothers. You know it's Coen brothers. It's got that feel to it. Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, do your life a favor. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. You go ahead.
A couple other movies I really liked. City Slickers. Very underrated movie. Both of them I think were very underrated. And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I
fucking love that movie. I think it was 06.
Movie.
And what's crazy is it's an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's what's even crazier about it. Most people don't even fucking realize it. And we got to watch it in English class one of my years in high school. We got to watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I've already seen it like 3 times. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher's like, did you know it was an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey? I'm like, yeah, I knew that. My dad told me that, and I still haven't read Homer's Odyssey. Can we watch the movie, please? Oh man, one of my favorite lines is, "We thought you were turned into a horny toad." Oh, what?
Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh, love that movie. Love that movie. John Goodman. Oh man,
I'm not even a musical fan, and I love that movie. It's such a good movie.
It's so good.
Oh,
yeah. And what's crazy is it's not really. I mean, it is and it isn't a musical. It's all very diegetic. Like the only part where they like outright break into song, that was like out of nowhere, was the Klan meetup. Is oh death. I'm like, what the fuck? What skit is this?
It's just that movie has like so many random moments, but they're all great.
It's such like underplayed comedy too that makes you laugh the hardest.
I definitely say like "is you is" or "is you ain't" my constituents all the time now. It's like "is you is" or "is you ain't" my constituents. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, how do you not know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, yeah, you'd be surprised how many people have never heard of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" But it's like,
I think it was a very underrated movie.
Oh, absolutely, it is. It's wholeheartedly. It's one of my favorites. I need to get it in my fucking collection. Every time I'm like, what movie should I get for Movie Trading Co? I never think of it. And I'm like, and then immediately when I get home, I'm like, fuck, I should have got Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And
that would be
classic,
a great edition.
Oh yeah.
I think I have it. I think I actually have Oh Brother, Where Art Thou on VHS.
Dude, that's crazy.
Ooh, you better hold on
I'd
to
have
that.
to look.
Yeah, you better definitely hold on to that.
I'd have to look. I know I have Robin Hood Men in Tights on VHS and DVD.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit, I know I have on VHS.
Yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's
I
a
have
good one.
That on both VHS and DVD.
I was about to say, when were we going to hit on some Robin Williams here? Like Robin Williams had some fucking classics. Yeah. It only
Yeah,
took
it
us
has some
15
great
minutes. Oh man.
Yeah, a lot of Robin Williams movies I really loved.
Oh, yeah.
Flubber, definitely one of my favorites.
I think it's
Love-
underrated and overrated at the same time. Like some
Mhm.
people know about it, and the people that do tend to overhype it, but it's also pretty damn good in my opinion. I think it's a fine kids movie. It really is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You can't really go wrong with watching a Robin Williams movie
no,
at
in
all.
my opinion,
can't go
you
wrong.
really can't. Unless you're watching 8mm, and by which case you may have to ask a whole bunch of other questions about yourself. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh.
I just hit you in the fucking age, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, you got to take one thing into consideration for Robin Williams is that the 90s was his real transition from comedy into much more serious acting.
Yeah.
Because he started doing movies like Patch Adams. Let's see here. He did What Dreams May Come.
What Dreams May Come. I used to watch that movie with my grandmother all the time.
The Fisher King. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one. It's with Jeff Bridges.
I've heard of it.
I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. I was gonna say another one is Good Will Hunting. That was the 90s too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big...
Bicentennial Man was another good one.
And those are big transitions for him to be starting. It was when he started getting recognized as a dramatic actor, as just opposed to just comedy. And he still infused comedy into it, but it was like, he can really act.
Yeah, exactly. And I always argue he could. The crazy thing about what a lot of people don't know about dramatic act, or what a lot of people don't know about comedic actors, is they can pull from dark places. That's where they get majority of their comedy. So it's not the hardest thing in the world. I mean, look at Bill Murray. Bill Murray has done some really good serious roles.
I know.
Yeah, and I would argue, I think Dan Aykroyd has, though granted, Dan Aykroyd usually sticks to like, oh, I'm the lovable, I'm the fun uncle kind of thing. He's almost like Jack Black before Jack Black was a thing. He's that kind of thing. Like, that's Dan Aykroyd. I know Harold Ramis did some really serious shit, but he mostly stuck to writing and behind the camera. He would every now and then put himself in front of the camera, but like, ironically enough, I'm talking about all these guys.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's like, it's not hard for a comedic actor to go into a serious role most of the time.
Most of the time.
Some people can't.
There's a couple of times, a really good one, I'll tell you, that was a complete 180. And granted, I don't think he ever really went back to it, was Marlon Wayans. He did, all the scary movie stuff, all the other stuff that he did. And then you look at Requiem for a Dream.
For a Dream. Yeah, he hit us with that shit.
Yeah, and it's like,
dude,
whoa, what the fuck? Why don't you do more shit like this? Yeah.
Like, you're talented at it. And I always thought the same thing. And it was just, I don't know, like, maybe it was too much for him. It was too dark.
Maybe. I guess there's always a chance that happens.
I would really like to know his reasoning for not doing more of that, because I get it that he loves comedy, but you have another strength, man. We'd love to see other facets of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I get it. If you find your stick, sit to it. Stick. If you feel comfortable sticking to it, go ahead and stick to it, man. That's fine. Yeah. No.
Well, I've known I can't really give specifics because I don't remember the names, but I know a lot of actors, like, when they do roles in, like, they have their niche, so they continue those. Then when they try another one, they're really good at it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they have to pull from some dark places.
I was gonna say, didn't John Travolta kind of do that? He was mostly kind of a comedic. Like, I know he started on a sitcom. I know that. Yeah. And then he kind of did some musical comedy, and then he did some comedies, and then he went, what was it? Michael was technically a mostly serious movie.
It still had comedy.
Well, yeah, it still had comedy in it. Yeah.
And then there was Phenomenon,
yeah.
which was still, like, he had some comedy moments, but it was still pretty serious. And then Pulp Fiction was not comedy for him.
No, he was actually mostly playing the straight man. There was only one really funny moment, which was I Shot Marlon. Yeah, or Marvin, or whatever his character name was.
Marvin, yeah.
I Shot Marvin, yeah. No, another freaking one I was gonna say. Come on, guys, we can't forget about John Travolta's most serious, well-grounded role of all time, Battlefield Earth. You hate me for that, don't you?
I don't even think I've ever watched that one. I've heard of it. I don't think I've watched it.
It's not good.
No, go watch it so that you can be subject to the shit we've watched too.
Yeah.
I'll probably say that John Travolta's probably the most serious role I ever saw him in was whenever he was the villain in the Punisher movie.
That was a pretty serious role. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm surprised
like,
he took that as serious as he did. Yeah.
He was a dark character for sure.
And especially in the 90s when he was doing a lot of like, if he was playing a villain role, he ate every bit of scenery that he could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where I think Face Off is one of the greatest things because you have overacting
Face
Nicolas
Off was
Cage,
good, yeah.
and then you switch it for John Travolta pretending to be overactor Nicolas Cage, pretending to be John Travolta, and oh my god, there's so many different. Like, that movie is ridiculous, but good God, there's
my
so many
favorite
different levels.
comedy movie he's done was the Look Who's Talking movies. Those were fucking
They
hilarious.
were funny, yeah. Look Who's Talking was pretty good.
I thought this one was underrated, but I've watched it at least over 100+ times, and I still laugh at it. Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, that's still a really good one in my opinion.
Great stupid slapstick comedy.
The best part of that movie is Kronk and Yzma. Let's be perfectly honest.
Kronk
That
is
is
just the best part of the movie.
Absolutely.
The best scene in that movie has to be the waterfall scene.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, no, freaking.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Emperor's New Groove?
Never seen it. Oh, watch
Really?
it,
dude. You're
Watch
missing
it.
out, man. If you got access to Disney Plus, it's on there because it's a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They actually made a TV series out of it too, and
And
even
it was pretty
TV
good.
shows was good.
Yeah. No, there was another one that they did. They did like a direct-to-DVD sequel, as they did in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kronk's New Groove.
Yeah, they
Kronk's
did one of
New
all.
And it was
the
actually
Kronk
pretty good.
because
Yeah.
it was just about him.
Yeah.
And if you need any more like further manipulation into watching this movie, Kronk is played by I'm blanking on his name. Patrick Warburton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Yzma is played by Eartha Kitt, if I'm not mistaken. And then of course
Yeah,
Cusco
Eartha
is played
Kitt.
by
Cusco
David
is
Spade.
played by David Spade. John Goodman plays Pacha.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh.
Oh, they're such a great cast.
Oh yeah, it's a really good cast. Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Warburton. I don't know if you guys ever watched the original Tick live action show, but
Yes, I fucking love that.
yeah,
The guy who they got to play him in the guy who they got to do the new one, he was not half bad.
he was great.
Was it Peter Serafinowicz, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was good. I thought he did a good job, like making it his own, but still kind of stealing from Warburton a little bit.
yeah, and I had no problem with either one of them, and I wish they did not get canceled. I loved both shows.
Yeah,
they were so enjoyable for me, just because it's stupid, it's fun. It's
It
not
makes
supposed
fun
to
of
be
superheroes,
serious.
but it's also another superhero show. It's
yeah,
it's good. I seriously love it. I think I feel like The Boys runs where the Tick walked.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like the ultimate thing. Like, I feel like the Tick was there like, okay, can we make fun of superheroes? Is it too early? And then they gave it a couple seasons and they're like, okay, so we got The Boys coming up. We're going to put our money into that. So, because, man, I actually really enjoyed the Tick. The Tick started off weird for me, though, from Prime. It started off very serious, very dark, very gritty, and then it just went full force into silliness. And I'm like,
why did you start one way and go another direction?
yeah, I was like, what the fuck? It was hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But as soon as he changes his suit from like, it looks like realistic, like body armor kind of thing. And then it just goes to, did you just change suits? It's like, no, I have always worn this suit. And I'm like, that I fucking hate you, but that's funny.
So there's one thing I wanted to bring up to you guys because I was doing some research for this particular episode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys realize how many hits that in the 90s and the early 2000s that Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler had?
Oh my God.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So many great movies.
If I'm not mistaken, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura all came out the same year.
Did they?
I think they were all
believe so.
1994.
Were they all 94?
God, he was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe they were.
And then there was The Cable Guy.
That's one of his most underrated movies. I'm not going to lie.
There was Liar Liar that came out a little while later.
Yeah.
Which
So John,
that was another great one.
You're not wrong. That was all 94. Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and freaking Ace Ventura all came out the same year.
He was working hard.
He was, dude. No, when
great
Liar
action
Liar
comedy.
came out, here's a great tidbit
Yeah.
that I love. He actually got the weekend it came out was the weekend he was hosting the Oscars, and it made bank. So much so that whenever he came out to start announcing stuff, he went, "So, how was your weekend?" He was like on the top of the box office, man. Oh my god. I still love Liar Liar. Liar Liar is hilarious, man.
I went and
Oh,
saw.
Liar Liar is a
Awesome.
great movie.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters, and I went with a friend from high school, and we weren't in high school anymore, but we went, and I remember the entire theater. I haven't seen this since. The entire theater is belly laughing themselves to death.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got tears streaming down their face.
Dude.
Like I've never seen that before. And
Yeah.
Liar Liar was to me, it's such an iconic comedy movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like
I
Jim
think a
Carrey
lot
saves
of-
that movie though.
Yeah.
I feel like if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
anybody else, it would not have worked as well. I think the only person that maybe could have made it work would have been Robin Williams. Maybe.
I can see that from a physical
Yeah, I could see
standpoint.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I could see that. It's an action comedy.
Mhm.
Rush Hour.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would argue those are
I grew
definitely
up watching
iconic.
Rush Hour for sure.
Yeah. No. Do
I
you
heard they're doing
understand the
a fourth
words that are
one,
coming out
and
of my mouth?
Man, no one understands.
I
what they're
heard
doing
that
anymore.
I've heard rumor that they're working on a fourth one right now.
Yes.
So
Granted,
I can't
don't
wait
know.
to see that as much as I love the first three.
Yeah, I don't know how active in development it is right now, especially with the actor strike still happening. So that's what it mostly comes down to. But no, man, it's I know that we've talked about it on the podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. It was a while ago.
It was a
though, we talked about
long
it.
time ago, yeah. So it may
Um,
still be in the script writing phase then.
Yeah. Classic one. Home Alone.
Yes. Definitely a classic.
Which, by the way, I just want to follow up real quick. Jackie Chan's fucking 70 years old, man.
Jesus Christ. Good God.
I just wanted to follow that up there, and that
Yeah.
he's a madman.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
him. I love him to death, but I don't think he's really doing his own stunts anymore. I mean,
Oh,
he's-
no.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No,
probably not.
No, most likely not. No. What I find funny is another duo that he ended up doing. Like there was two movies, was Shanghai Nights and
Oh,
what was the sequel?
Love those movies.
Shanghai Noon?
Nights and Shang Noon.
Shang yeah, Shanghai Noon. Yeah, those were
great comedy
great.
movies.
Yeah, I loved those movies. Like you would have never suspected Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan to work well together.
It did.
And it did.
Oh yeah.
I think they
Okay.
did one more, and no, it wasn't Owen Wilson. It was what's his name? I always forget his name, but every time I see him, I'm like, it's Steve Coogan. They did Around the
Steve
World in
Coogan.
80 Days.
Oh, that was a.
I
I don't
watched
think
that
was
once. I don't
early
remember it.
2000s. I think that was the mid 2000s.
Was
but
it?
still,
Yeah,
was a great movie.
I grew up with it, and I remember
don't
loving
kn-
it.
Let me look.
And then I looked up the casting like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, what the fuck? Arnold Schwarzenegger was in this movie? He made a cameo. I'm like, what the? How did I not know that? And just
Okay, 2004. So yeah, I would consider that early 2000s.
yeah. Well, you gotta remember,
Yeah.
early 2000s was like the heyday of Jackie Chan's American career. Like late
Oh, yeah,
90s, early 2000s was
Yeah.
like his golden hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Jackie Chan Adventures also being a TV show.
Yeah. I
Love
freaking
that
miss that
show.
show.
Love that
Yeah.
Even though he didn't do his own voice.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, not at all. Which I thought was weird.
Yeah, it's
But-
weird. No, I'm trying to think what would be considered another early 2000s comedy. Because we were talking about Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler. I mean, Adam Sandler has classics like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Water.
Billy Madison.
I love
Oh,
freaking Waterboy. Waterboy's hilarious. His remake of The Longest Yard is really, really good.
I just rewatched that again. It still holds up.
It still
it's
holds
still
up,
really fun
yes.
to watch.
Hey,
I
Candy
felt
Corn,
that on
Candy
my
Corn, I'll be
mama's
alright.
stack.
I don't remember when it came out, but Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights was another really good one. It was an
Yeah.
animated one. But
Yeah,
still
it's
good.
it's decent. What I find funny is that actually bankrupted that animation studio. That
Did it
movie
really?
Really?
bankrupted it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because the movie didn't make enough
Oh,
money
wow.
back, and they worked their hardest on it. But yeah,
Mhm.
It was well animated for sure.
very well animated. Yeah,
yeah.
Now here's a little like kind of forgotten Jim Carrey movie that I love. I absolutely love. Me, Myself, and Irene.
It's starting to make a comeback, believe it or not, because a lot of clips are starting to release on YouTube and they're getting millions and millions of views. Specifically the something's cooking and I think it's sourdough. You know, just that freaking, that whole scene where oh man, that movie is
And look who decided to come to the party.
Yeah.
That wasn't for me.
Yeah. I will say this, one of my favorites was underrated from Jim Carrey. It was like whenever his career was starting to he wasn't like holding the name power anymore, was Yes Man. I feel like Yes Man was pretty movie. I liked it.
I was just thinking about Yes Man.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I would definitely say that was one of his better. It was like a comedy / rom. It was more of a rom-com than anything else, and I still loved it. I thought even as a kid I loved it. You know, obviously my favorite scene as a kid was I just tried some Ripple. Have you ever had Ripple? Ripple. Yeah, it's like I'm like, okay, yeah, that's funny.
Another big name that we haven't talked about yet, early 90s to early 2000s. Brendan Fraser, George of the Jungle, The Mummy 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes,
I'll hit you in the feels
thrillers,
a little bit. Monkey Bone.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say it.
You knew I was gonna say it.
I was hoping, don't you fucking say it. Don't you let those words escape your fucking mouth. And you did it. You did it.
Yeah. George, you should know me enough at this point. I'm gonna find a way to push buttons, and even if I don't know what I'm doing, good God, I know that movie is awful, but it's like I will say
Chris Kattan. Oh God.
Oh man, I fucking feel bad for that guy. I thought he was gonna have a fucking phenomenal career.
Well, Night of the Roxbury. I mean,
yeah, man,
it's still a funny movie. It's stupid, but it's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, shit. I was gonna say another one that's. It could have worked if Fraser had not just played basically another version of George of the Jungle, which was Dudley Do-Right. Because every other bit of casting was perfect. The only thing where I'm like,
that movie.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorites.
It's good, but it's like you feel like he's just mostly playing himself. There's only one scene where he actually sounds like Dudley Do-Right. Yeah, but no, like freaking, I'm blanking on his name. Doc Ock.
I don't.
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina. He was perfect as was it? I forget the villain's name, but like the mustache twirling. Like he was really good. He was good that was really good casting.
Encino Man, definitely one of my favorites.
Encino Man. I was gonna say that's one of my most bearable Pauly Shore performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Son-in-Law was okay. I didn't.
Biodome.
Oh fuck me!
God damn it!
I don't think I've seen Biodome.
Don't
do it to yourself, man.
If you're gonna do it, you need to get stoned off your ass.
Yeah, like you need a severe amount of the devil's lettuce, bud.
Yeah. Well, luckily he's in
Blast from the Past.
Oh boy, here we go.
With Brendan Fraser.
Oh, that's an underrated one. Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, there's a scene that's starting to make a resurgence, and it's the "Can I help you? Oh, my stars and stripes and Negro." It just Jesus. Oh man.
Brendan Fraser did
and another one.
Go ahead.
Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yes. I love that movie.
That was another great movie.
Never saw that one.
I saw it in theaters as a kid. I always thought Steve Martin was played by Mike Myers for some reason. I don't know why. Like his character looked a lot like a character Mike Myers would have played.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now I will say this, speaking of Mike Myers, you want to talk about some freaking comedy classics. Austin Powers. Yeah. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, those are they weren't my favorites.
Yeah.
But they were still that at the time comedy gold.
Oh yeah. The second one is still one of my favorites. I feel like it had the better budget. And I feel like it had the better jokes. I mean, who else can beat? You had the introduction of Mini-Me. You had Fat Bastard.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. I'm telling you. Rest in peace to the actor who played Mini-Me. He did pass a few years ago, actually.
Leon, I agree with you. Yeah. Like they weren't like the comedy movies for me, but through the early 90s, or the late 90s and the early 2000s, they dominated the theater.
They did.
I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
just destroyed at the box office. And so, I mean, I still recognize it for, you know, the moments that it has for being good comedy.
Yeah.
But I won't go back to them. Like if it's on TV or something, there's absolutely nothing else to watch. Sure. Why not? Austin Powers.
It makes good background noise. I will argue that.
Yeah.
I would argue
Definitely
the
does.
third one is probably, I would say it's the most, it has some of the better moments, but as a whole, it does not work.
Mhm.
Because I would argue Michael Caine as Austin's father is fucking hilarious. I love that. The kids they got to play young Austin and young Dr. Evil they were so fucking good.
He did another movie in the 90s called So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I think I saw it as a kid. I'm
I've
not
heard of that
entirely
one, but I've
sure if
never
I
watched
watched
it.
the whole movie.
You see his influences of other characters that he ended up doing later on in his movie career
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, well, you know, what's funny is we were talking about Mike Myers. Obviously, you can't talk about Mike Myers and not talk about Shrek, but I was going to make a side comment to that. Chris Farley had some really good shit in the 90s and the early
100%.
2000s.
Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy is great.
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep is freaking hilarious. Anything he did with David Spade was really good. I was going to argue Beverly Hills Ninja is one of his underrated ones. It's fine, but it's still got some funny ass moments in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a movie, but one of my favorite TV shows growing up was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. with Will
Oh,
Smith.
dude, that's a freaking staple of all time. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think it's still
Staple
playing.
comedy series.
I still argue that the reboot that they did should have been, instead of Rags to Riches, it should have been Riches to Rags, and it should have been freaking what's his son's name? I always blank on his son's.
Carlton.
No. Oh, like Will Smith's actual real life son.
Oh, Jaden.
Yeah,
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. It should have been Jaden Smith going from like Bel Air to the hood. I still argue that would have been a phenomenal reboot.
I didn't watch the reboot at all.
It's not good.
I didn't either.
It's not good.
I didn't either. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. They're going to be a reboot and it's going to be another comedy. And as I looked into
Nope.
it, it is.
It's a
nothing
Riverdale
like the
clone. That's all it is.
Oh,
it's,
no.
It's super serious.
Yeah.
It's trying to be like, I would say Riverdale clone because like it still deals with teenagers, but it's not that, oh, we're serious and sexy kind of shit. No, it's just we're serious. You know, we're drama.
As soon as I saw the
I'm
first
like-
trailer for the Bel Air series,
Yeah.
thinking that because it's supposed to be
Fresh Prince.
a reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, it's like, oh great, another comedy. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I immediately turned off from this show.
No, yeah, it did not do well. I don't even think it lasted a whole season. I think they had a whole
I have
season and they
no
snipped
idea.
it
Yeah.
because it was getting trashed by everybody. Nobody wanted to watch it. Those that did said don't watch it. You know, it just it was one of those.
Yeah, I actually bought the Fresh Prince of Bel Air DVD box set for the whole series.
Yeah, that's worth it.
I found it on Amazon for like $30.
Dude.
Really?
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we see George go into
definitely.
Amazon.
I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone.
Oh, I found some good banger bundle deals for old 90s, early 2000s TV shows and movies. Oh, there's so many good deals.
No, I was gonna say when it comes to comedies, you know, if we go back to, so you said Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey. We already kind of went over that, but
50 First Dates, Anger Management, like
those were freaking hilarious.
Oh yes, great.
Yeah,
movies,
Anger
great
Management was. I still think 50 First Dates is like it's one of those comedies that has a lot of heart to it.
I just saw something that was super funny. It was like a spoof trailer for a sequel to 50 First Dates, and it was like I think Adam Sandler did it because it was him doing it. It was like he was doing a video for 2023 to his wife.
It's just him screaming.
Oh, he was just talking about like everything that was going on. It was like we were in a pandemic. Our daughter's 33 or something like that. And it's just like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
That's pretty damn good, honestly. No,
So-
50 First Dates is great. Go ahead.
So one movie that I wanted to bring up, and because honestly, the dialogue in the movie did not age well, but it's funny because of the outcome of the movie, which is Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Fucking yes. Guantanamo Bay is
Love
just
those
as bad.
It
But
is.
good God, is it funny?
It's fucking hilarious, but the
That was
gay
the Christmas special. The Christmas
special is amazing. The
Yeah.
gay jokes don't age well, but the funny
No.
thing is,
No.
Cal Penn is gay. He came
Oh
out of
my
the closet.
God.
He's gay.
Holy shit. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's
Good
making
for
all
him.
these self-referenced, like terrible gay jokes, and all the whole time he was gay.
Ah, isn't that funny?
It's like slap
Oh,
my
the
ass,
irony.
dude.
Yeah.
I love this.
That's like
That's
like when Neil Patrick Harris played Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, exactly. And then they got
Like the
Wayne Brady,
exact
who was
opposite.
100%, well, I would say a good chunk percent straight. And you got him to play his gay brother, which is freaking hilarious in and of itself. Yeah. No, so you want to talk about freaking classic staples of comedy and television in the early 2000s? How I Met Your Mother, man.
Yeah,
That shit is hilarious.
The
I love that
Office.
show.
Uh,
The Office
pretty
is
sure
a
that's
really good
my-
one.
I just recently rewatched How I Met Your Mother like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I freaking love it. I
Oh,
love
it's
that show.
hilarious. Yeah.
The sequel series actually isn't too bad.
From what I've been
With
told, it's not
Hilary
god
Duff,
awful.
it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, How I Met Your Father. I heard it's not god awful, but I heard it's
It's
not as
not.
good.
it's not my favorite. It's,
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
can
have
never
this
catch
same
lightning in a
heart.
bottle like that again.
Yeah,
It's not as funny as the original, but it still has its good funny moments.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of things that are like that.
and you have to be honest. Barney Stinson, that character made
Oh,
that
100%.
show. Like,
Oh yeah,
he's-
100%.
So did Marshall with Slapsgiving.
yeah,
Freaking Lily just being the semi airhead that she was. Robin just being a Canadian stereotype. Ted was the only like one where it's like, yeah, he's our main character, and it's like, so what's good about him? He's a hopeless romantic. Okay, cool. What else? He's a hopeless
That's it.
romantic.
And he makes all the wrong decisions.
Exactly.
and my
yes.
favorite episode to this day is the moment he got a tramp stamp, and
Yeah, where he went on that like crazy date. He's just
Yeah.
Just
oh,
whatever.
tag.
Yeah, it's like he slaps him on his ass or whatever, and he's like, "Ow, that really hurts."
Why did
And
that
it's
hurt
like,
so much?
Oh, you're spreading your wings. The jokes
My
in that
favorite
was
episode
hilarious.
has to be the Suits musical episode.
Oh my god, yes, that's a really good one. Really, anytime. No, there was the episode where Barney had to go without wearing a suit to try to get with the girl, and he was like, it was like an addict or whatever. He had like a suit in the bathroom of the bar. Like, oh my god, I still think one of the funniest episodes is the one where
Anything with Ducky Tie.
yes,
Anything with the Ducky
the
Tie.
Ducky Tie was
Ducky Tie.
phenomenal.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. No, I was gonna say the episode where they're trying to find that burger place.
Oh,
I
the best
love
burger in
that
town.
episode. That is
Marshall's best
that was-
burger.
ever, yeah. And what was his name? He also So You Want to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, Regis.
Regis Philbin, yeah.
Regis Philbin, yeah,
He
yeah.
shows up and he's freaking hilarious in the show.
Oh,
Oh,
there's so many freaking like special guests in that.
oh my
series.
god,
William
yeah.
Zabka
William
from the
Zabka was
Karate
freaking
Kid.
hilarious.
That was probably the best one for me.
Yeah, and it was the same episode with freaking I'm like Ralph Macchio as well. It's like,
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the Karate Kid. And it's like, wait,
I
are you
am
one
the
of those
Karate Kid.
assholes? It's like, I am the Karate
Yeah.
Kid. Wait, are you one of those assholes who thinks William was the And then lo and behold, Cobra Kai was a thing. And it's just like, okay.
Or that one
Cobra Kai
episode.
owes itself to How I Met Your Mother.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
for sure.
Yeah.
I would love a Ryugi episode where it talks about Cobra Kai.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Just
That'd
you
be
have
awesome.
Barney
Finally.
whatever state he was in is like finally, yeah.
That would make me so happy.
That
Yeah.
that would be a really good one. Just get everybody back for that.
Just
no,
that
man.
one.
Also, when
Oh.
Marshall like runs up on Ernie Hudson and
Oh,
needs his
man.
phone, and he's like, "Who are you gonna call?" And he's just like,
I love
and
it.
every time they're talking about the one episode where they were talking about marijuana, it was like sandwiches.
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 Yeah.
And they're all sitting there with like this
Long
3-foot
ass
sub.
sandwich, just like, ooh, this is a really good sandwich. No, the one thing that always made me laugh was Marshall and Lily's anniversary or Valentine's Day tradition, which was watching AVP.
I know, right?
I fucking love that. Oh man, no, that's such a great show. The casting was perfect.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go into shows, and I think somebody else mentioned it before, that 70s show.
Oh, that's such a good one.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
To
that
me,
was
that
a freaking staple.
It was like, not in tone or anything, but it was like How I Met Your Mother, and the fact that it was funny and had a lot of heart.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like that show was freaking
The
hilarious.
sequel series on Netflix actually has
I like it.
not the same amount of heart, but it has that heart.
Yeah, I dig it. I've watched all the episodes. I can't wait for season 2.
Same.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, I'm trying to think of another really good like comedy movie that's like either underrated or a staple, like a classic from the 90s and early 2000s. And I was gonna say Forgetting Sarah Marshall is freaking hilarious. I love that movie.
I do too.
That movie is so fucking funny. It actually makes me somewhat tolerate Russell Brand.
Somewhat tolerate. What was it? The Honey I Shrunk the Kids movies. Those are some really good. At least the second
were
one.
they 90s?
Yeah.
They were 90s, really? I thought the first one was the 80s.
I think the first one's the 80s. Honey I Shrunk Ourselves is 90s.
Yes, and then Honey I Blew Up the Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
90s.
Were really good.
Yeah.
I think I watched Matilda more than I watched that one.
Yeah, Matilda's a freaking classic for a reason.
Son of a bitch, you're right. 89 was Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, it was just on the cusp.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah. No, some of the effects really hold up in that movie too, honestly.
They were fantastic.
Yeah. For a relatively low budget, if I remember correctly, it didn't have the biggest budget in the world.
No, it didn't.
Not really. But for as low of a budget as it did, I guess even back then, like it still holds up relatively well for the effects and everything. Still one of the only movies that got me to cry for a spider.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hate spiders. That's the thing. An ant? Was it an ant?
I think it was an ant.
Was it an ant? No, I think it was an ant and a spider.
I gotta go back and watch that movie. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Yeah, it's been so long since I watched those movies.
But it's funny that you brought up Matilda, because Matilda is a freaking classic of the, if I remember correctly, it was the late 90s.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito directed that.
96, I think. Yeah, he was also in it.
He directed it. He was in it. And what's funny is his now ex-wife, obviously, but Rhea Perlman was the freaking mom in there as well.
Yeah,
Mara freaking Wilson.
That was such a good one. Even the reboot of Matilda where they do it a whole musical is still
I heard
really
the
good.
musical's really, really well done too. Yeah.
I just love those memes where they like put like a specific scene and it just lines up perfectly with Dragula by Rob Zombie.
Yes. Like the part where she's grabbing her by the pigtails and spinning her around and just like...
no, it's with the newer like musical.
Oh, with the musical.
There's a particular scene where it's just like the same cadence and it just goes with that song too well.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'll send you the video if I can find it again.
Okay. So like, I've never seen Matilda, but I didn't realize that Paul Rubens was in that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was I forget who he was, but he was in there. Yeah.
FBI agent.
That makes more sense. Oh shit! Yeah, he fucking was. I always forget. Like anytime he's not in the Pee-wee outfit, for some reason, I always forget who Paul Rubens looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that. I've never seen that one.
And what's great about it is it's a Danny DeVito directorial. It was like not his directorial debut, but it was one of his like biggest movies that he did, and it was based off a Roald Dahl book, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really well done. No, like DeVito has some really good shit under his belt, and it's not just movies and acting and comedy. You know, obviously, like he's known for Taxi, and I would argue now he's known more for It's Always Sunny. But no, I mean it's It's insane.
Yeah, I think this was an 80s one that DeVito did. Twins. I believe that was 80s.
It might have actually been the 90s because I was going to say that I think that was 90s Arnold. They're going to do a reboot, by the way.
I heard.
Oh, no, you're right, Leon. 1998 or 1990 or 1988. You were correct.
Well, if they do a reboot and it's not Peter Dinklage and Jason Momoa, I'm not watching it.
I think they said it's going to be. Actually, it might actually be those. I have no idea yet.
I didn't know that.
I've heard rumor that they want to do a Twins reboot with those two actors for years.
That would be perfect.
And it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Ivan Reitman directed that. I mean, I saw that movie
Ivan
in
Reitman
theaters with my
directed
mom. Yeah.
He directed a lot of shit that I always forget about.
He did.
Yeah. Ivan Reitman has some good movies under his belt that isn't just Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Holy shit. I always forget other movies that Ivan Reitman did.
I want to watch Twins. I'm looking for it. I need to find it to stream or something.
Yeah.
I think it's on
I
Tubi.
forget he did Evolution. That movie's freaking.
That was such a great movie.
You're fucking kidding me. He did. I knew he did Kindergarten Cop. That movie's actually, and that actually counts. That's the 90s. That's 1990.
Kindergarten Cop was a great movie.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, it's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
He has a fucking ferret for some reason.
It's a ferret, not a rat.
It's a ferret, not a rat. Yeah. No, man.
Another underrated, I believe it was early 2000s. Underrated, stacked to the fucking top cast. Tropic Thunder.
Dude, that's not underrated. It just flew under the radar of everybody nowadays. Now that's not
nowadays. Yeah,
dude, that's freaking hilarious. I love that movie. I can still watch it and laugh my ass off.
Right? Walking into the theater and trying to figure out who that character was, because it's like, you know, his voice. I've heard this guy before. Who the fuck is that? And then, like, when the light bulb went off, it's like, that's Tom Cruise. Oh my god, that's Tom Cruise.
Yes! That actually saved his fucking career too. Because that was right at the height of his like downfall of his ego.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, man. And let's be perfectly honest. Mission Impossible 2, it may not be presented as a comedy, but it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Yes,
it's so freaking over the top. Oh my god. The fact that you got John Woo. Jesus. That's still my least favorite Mission Impossible movie.
It's so overly stylized. It's so
is.
bad.
It is so bad.
Ocean's 11 was another. I think it's a comedy. I don't.
It's
remember.
A heist comedy. Yeah, it's not bad. I would say it's
early
more like
2000s though.
No, it is. It's early 2000s. Because I think the last, I think Ocean's 13 came out in. Hold on.
I don't remember, but
13 came out in 2007 because 13 came out before. I think that was one of the last movies Bernie Mac did before he died. Because one of his last like voice acting roles was he was Alex's dad in Madagascar 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he died in between production or in the middle of production. So what they did is they took whatever recordings they had and they kind of spliced it together to make him talk however they wanted to. Which you can thank Madagascar 2 for that kind of technology.
Yeah.
So early 2000s comedy horror, Shaun of the Dead.
Fuck yes, I always love that movie. Oh man, it is not my favorite. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking on his name.
My favorite's always going to be Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is fucking hilarious.
It's great.
It's one of the most rewatchable out of the entirety of the Cornetto trilogy.
The reason why I don't like Shaun of the Dead is just because a lot of my friends really loved it and they constantly quoted the damn movie all the fucking time. And like I watched
got annoying.
It really did. Like I watched it finally after a bit and I'm like, yeah, it's funny, but it's no Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is the most quotable out of the series. And I will say this, like out of that, because hold on, does it count as early 2000s? Because I need to see. Hold on.
I don't remember when it came out.
No.
Oh, World's End.
Fuzz came out. Yeah, World's End.
World's End.
Yeah. No, it was 2013. Damn, just right on the cusp. But I mean, like that movie, I feel like that's one I hated it the first time I saw it. I was like, I don't like this. There's some decent comedy, some decent action, but this is no Hot Fuzz. This is no Shaun of the Dead. And then I rewatched it maybe a year ago.
Oh,
completely changed for it.
Galaxy Quest.
Fuck! I love that movie. That's actually a really good Star Trek movie too.
Great.
That's what's great.
99 film. Great 99.
Oh man, I love Galaxy Quest. That
fantastic movie.
So freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that movie's seeing some sort of a revival right now.
Yeah.
If
it's one of the better non-Star Trek movies.
Riot.
That's a good Star Trek movie.
That's one movie is like I do not want to see a reboot of.
That doesn't need to be. It
No.
really needs to be left alone.
It does, right? Yeah. Leave it alone. Let it sit where it is, and just let it be heralded as one of the better ones.
Yeah, because some fucking big Hollywood dipshit's gonna be like, Galaxy Quest, let's do a reboot, but let's make it dark and gritty. It's like, no,
never make it dark. I mean, you can go dark and gritty with it, but always keep it a comedy. That is what it is, first and foremost. It is making fun of like how over the top
sci-fi films were.
Sci-fi films, but primarily Star Trek. That's the main. That's the main bear.
Justin Long in that as movie. The nerdy fanboy. I was like, oh my god, he's so perfect in the role.
Yeah,
he's so good.
And then you see him in other horror movies, and he's almost always playing an asshole. So
it's really weird.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. You want to talk about a horror movie that it's like it has Justin Long, and you're like, okay, when are you gonna be an asshole? Never does. Drag Me to Hell.
Right.
He is a nice guy the entire time. Never turns into an asshole.
I can almost go the horror comedy route with that movie.
Yes, because it is Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with you. You could almost go horror comedy.
It's more horror. It leans more horror, but
it
does have its kind of funny moments, and I'd have to give it to the actress that played the lead there. She had funny moments.
She did. Yeah. I will say she's not the strongest actor throughout the whole movie. Which is kind of a shame because she is the main focus. But no, I rewatched it, and it was my buddy's first time watching it. The reason why he was so hesitant towards it, and after this I'll get back into get back into the comedy. But the reason why he was so hesitant towards it is because he knew going in that it's technically a metaphor for an eating disorder.
Okay. I did not know that.
Technically, a lot of people are seeing it as a metaphor for that.
Okay.
And if you go back and watch it, you can kind of see it. And then I completely forgot about it. It was shot for 3D until I rewatched it. I'm like, I see it.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. I was like, that makes so much fucking sense. Because granted, it came out right at the peak of the 3D craze. Because I think Drag Me to Hell came out in 2009.
I think so.
Yeah, 2009. Wow, I'm getting better and better with guessing my years on these movies. Yeah, but no, shit. Back on the comedies, man. I'm telling you, like,
since it's gonna be the holidays, right? Bad Santa.
Oh, fucking love that movie. That movie's great. Its sequel is not terrible either.
Yeah, I like its sequel. I actually watch both movies every holiday season.
Yeah.
And Billy Bob Thornton, like super raunchy comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just absolutely there for it. I'm a shitting, eating, talking, fucking Santa.
Yeah, come on, man. That's like when you have Eminem kind of referencing you in one of his videos, you've done something right.
My go-to holiday comedy Christmas movie would have to be the Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is really good.
Yeah, really good movie.
I will definitely agree with you. Yeah, those are definitely classics for a reason. Shit, you want to go from there? We want to talk about Tim Allen and Disney. A Toy Story is technically a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of heart. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's a comedy. I'll give it that for sure.
I would have to say 2 is more of a comedy than the first one.
They should have stopped after 3. I hate
There's
4.
only one good scene in 4. There's only one
it.
Good scene in 4, and that's when Gabby finds the kid. Like the kid that she goes with. I was like, okay, that's the one genuinely good scene. Everything else is mid. Like the only shit that had me laughing in Toy Story 4 was Forky, whenever he's like, "Can I die? Can I die? Can I go in the trash? Can I go in the?" I'm like, all right, suicidal
Relatable.
fork. Come on, that's funny. You know, it's like I'm trash. You know, of course it's like, and this is Forky. Hi, I'm trash. And it's like, all right, you won me over a little bit. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Toy Story 3 is no, it's not as good.
Not as good, but that one had so much heart into
Oh,
it.
sorry,
It
Toy
was-
Story 4. Sorry, my bad. Toy Story 3 is pretty good. I will not disagree
Toy
with that
Story
at all.
3 had me crying at the end, okay?
It did, me too. Yeah, I actually cried in theaters for that movie. Would we consider Transformers a comedy?
I probably wouldn't. There's like one
Mm,
funny character, maybe.
The only
I would say
funny
Transformers.
character
You go ahead.
I would have to say the two characters that would be in Transformers 2, Skid.
I was
Yeah,
about to say, like, those two
Yeah.
are the funny
Like-
ones.
yeah.
Like
I They're the
love
comedy
those
relief.
two because they were stupidly funny so much.
You have the Transformers for them, don't you? You have the actual toys.
Because I love
I
them
used
so
to have
much.
their figures. Yeah, I used to have their figures. Those were a pain in the ass too. I miss those freaking figures, man.
Uh-huh.
Like I had Bumblebee, I had Optimus. I actually tried
I
to get all the ones
have-
to make Devastator. I think I did actually at one point.
I don't
I
have
think
a lot of the ones from the movies. The only ones I have from the movies are Skids, Mudflap, Sideswipe, and Bumblebee. The other ones are
Yeah.
from the TV shows.
That's fair enough.
I have
There were a
shelves
couple of
upon
those.
shelves of Transformers.
That's fair.
It's
Think
and that's
I'm a
not even
problem.
that's not even my collection. That's my wife's.
Ooh,
Oh wow!
there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
Yeah. She's a hardcore Transformer collector.
that's fair. All right.
Yeah.
Any more comedies that we'd like to talk about from the 90s to the early 2000s?
I'm going to touch upon a couple things here. I'm going to say one of my favorite like feel good, like I can watch this movie anytime for the last, but I want to talk about Will Ferrell.
Yes, he has some great ones. Talladega Nights is a classic.
That's probably my favorite Will Ferrell movie next to Step Brothers. Like those two,
Those two are fucking hilarious.
they switch places all the time. Then you
Anchorman
got
is hilarious too.
Anchorman is a classic. I love it. I
Anchorman's-
do.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
That's a wrap, right?
Yeah, that's a wrap, right? He's like, holy shit.
And leading into that, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, that Steve Carell had some really good ones in the early 2000s
Yeah.
too. 40-Year-Old Virgin's great.
Yeah, that was a like funny, stupid type thing. Same thing with the American Pie movies. Those were kind of
Yeah, I
dumb
would argue
comedy.
American Pie is like probably the most dated out of all the movies we said. Like, don't get me wrong, Ace Ventura is pretty dated, but like American Pie is very, very dated.
I heard they're coming out with another new one
Oh fuck no.
No.
Stop.
No.
Just let it die.
Yeah.
Let it die. You've gotten like 15 direct to DVD movies. Just let it die.
with a reunion one. Like they should have stopped
Yeah.
at the reunion.
Well, and here's the thing: is it kind of became like the next National Lampoon's thing because
Yeah.
you know, what for a while in the 80s and early 90s, you had a shitload of like movies that like they're either sub to mid par comedies, and they have the National Lampoon's name on it, so a lot of people just went out and saw them. And I feel like American Pie kind of became the early 2000s
Version of that. Yeah.
version of that. Yeah, it became the National Lampoon's thing. It's like, oh, this is a movie that we just wanted to make a raunchy comedy that involved college or high school kids, and it's like, but we don't have anything recognizable about it. Just slap American Pie on the title, and you'll call it. You'll make some money.
Yeah.
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 Kind of like what they did with American Psycho 2. It was originally
Oh my
God damn
god.
it, that
Name.
movie.
it was gonna have a
Oh,
completely different
man.
name. Then they just slapped that name on it at the end.
Yeah, and the movie was already terrible as is.
Fuck
Oh, yeah.
that movie so hard in
Awful.
the ear.
Yeah, there's a
That's-
reason. The only reason why I think a lot of people nowadays know about it is either they already knew about it and they just have repressed trauma from it, or you can thank fucking dead meat.
Yeah.
Oh, they did a kill count on it.
Well, he did American Psycho. He had to do.
You have to do American Psycho.
It's kind of like just doing Thanksgiving. Like he did not want to do Thanksgiving 3, but people bullied him online.
Oh man! And the thing is, he hated Thanksgiving, and that's that movie was meant to be awful. And then
it's terrible.
Yeah,
I laughed.
The entire plot.
There's a couple moments where I laughed.
Terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's one point where like I kind of it's like I have no other option but to laugh, or no, I have to laugh because the only other option is to cry. And that was when the turkey was wearing her dad's face as like a mask, and she still didn't fucking know a thing. And I was like, I have no other option but to laugh because if I don't, I'll cry. This is terrible. Oh man.
So I'm not going to let you guys go without mentioning one more iconic a director from the 90s and 2000s, Kevin Smith.
Yes, Dogma is one of my fucking favorite movies of his. I love Dogma, and I hate that you can't find it anymore.
Nope.
You can.
Hard one.
You can find it on YouTube. There's like somebody that has like a whole fucking video of it. It's yet to be copyright claimed. Like the quality's kind of meh, but you know, it's still that's how I watched it, and I fucking love that movie. It's hilarious.
Clerks 1 and 2, Mallrats,
Chasing Amy. I'll tell you one that's like really underrated from him. Jersey Girl.
Don't think I've seen that one.
That movie has so much freaking heart with it because
I don't know why that movie was hated on so much.
I think it's because Ben Affleck was hated on for the longest time, and that was around the start of it. And I think that's what it ultimately came down to.
And it had George Carlin in it too.
It had George Carlin in it.
The problem
it had
here, guys?
Tyler. It had J-Lo at the beginning. That movie has so much freaking heart. Makes you cry at the beginning, and then it just makes you keep. It's like, why don't you let the kids go see the Cats? And it's like, Dad, do you even know what Cats is? And of course, for the play, because she takes her to Sweeney Todd, they do a Sweeney Todd musical. And I'm like, fuck, that is so funny because everybody's just dead silent. They're like, what the fuck? And then like one dad gets up and claps because everybody's doing memories from Cats. Oh my god, I love that movie. My favorite scene is his daughter and the little boy. They're like, mine doesn't look like that, and she does the skirt thing, and you just see him there. He's like fucking tapping his foot. And he's like, so what are your intentions with my daughter? And the kid's like, oh man,
I don't know why that movie got so much hate. It wasn't as bad as they said it was.
So fucking good. It is so good.
Who knows? Who knows why some movies like get so much praise when they're not great, and then
they get
really great movies get shitty reviews. Everyone says, "Fuck that movie."
You want to talk about a director that knows how that feels because almost every consecutive movie after his first has like done terrible, got trashed by critics, and then gets a reprisal like a couple of years down the line, if not longer. We're talking John Carpenter here. Yep.
Yeah.
Minus Halloween, every consecutive movie that he has done after that either gets trashed by critics when it first comes out, and then it gets a reprisal later on down the line. The Thing did that. They Live did that. I love They Live. I still think it's one of his most underrated movies.
I do too.
Yeah. That movie is and that's one I would love to see a reboot for.
It's getting rebooted.
Fuck yes.
It's already in the
so
works.
Fucking excited about that because that's one that's like you can do so fucking much with the internet with that movie.
There was news of it. I did a TikTok on it, and star and director attached.
Fuck yeah, giant freaking robot.
Yeah, Matt Reeves.
Oh fuck yes!
And Andy Serkis to star.
Yes,
right.
I love this. This is
going to be a great movie.
There's a movie I still need to watch that is directed by John Carpenter. It's Studio 666. It's the
Is it by John Carpenter?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a Rob Zombie movie.
No, it's It's Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. It's their movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair enough.
That's one I've been needing to see. It's just I haven't gotten around to it.
It's
supposed to be like a comedy horror kind of thing, but
well, you want to have a movie that's like, it's not meant to be a comedy, but it's got some laughable moments. Watch Ghost of Mars.
Ghost of Mars.
I like that movie.
Oh, I don't think it's terrible. I'm just saying it has some very laughable moments.
It's super over the top and kind of dumb, but I really actually kind of enjoyed it. I was like, what the fuck?
So there is one movie that I know for a fact I'm going to shoot myself in the foot if I don't talk about it, because it did come out in the 90s. Friday. That is a fucking staple of the 90s.
It's hilarious.
Definitely
I
one
love
of the
that movie.
staples. Yes, definitely.
Actually, I would argue Friday, next Friday was pretty good too. I could not finish Friday After Next. Day got on my nerves. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't like Mike Epps. Yeah, maybe it's because I don't like Mike Epps, and he was passable in the first in Next Friday, but like he has a much bigger role in the next one, and it's like, I just don't like you. Shut up. Please stop.
96 sci-fi comedy. I believe it was Jack Black's first movie, Mars Attacks.
Ooh. I forgot about Mars Attacks. I love that movie. That movie's freaking hilarious.
I believe that was Jack Black's first film.
No, because he... Was it?
I think that was his first film. I don't remember.
Directed by Tim Burton. I mean, just such a fantastic film.
Hold on. I'm about to prove Leon wrong here. Let's see if I can. His first movie. Let me see if I can find the oldest date here. Is either Airborne or True Romance.
True Romance.
They both came out in 93. Nope. Yeah, so Neverending Story 3.
He wasn't True Romance.
Yes, he was. Yep. Oh, he's going to be in Borderlands. The Eli Roth Borderlands movie.
He was a skinny boy in True Romance too.
He was in Cable Guy. He was in Demolition Man. I call bullshit on that one. I love that movie. I knew he was an enemy of state. I knew that. I knew he was an enemy of the state.
There was a TV series for Tenacious D in the 90s?
Yeah. It was
raunchy.
Yeah, it was just a series of music videos, wasn't it?
No, they had music intertwined with it, but watching Jack Black give birth to a butt baby that was covered in poop was just fucking hell. Like, even to this day, I've watched that whole series a few times. Or they're selling Rockstar semen and on like a lemonade stand. That one is not meant for kids. Not meant for That's really funny.
Well, if we're talking Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny is fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's so funny.
That movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
gotta say, I'm a big fan.
2003, great movie as well.
School of Rock is great too. I will argue that is one of his. Kung Fu Panda is pretty damn good.
I'll give it.
Yeah. That was like 2000.
Another Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah. Another Jackie.
Because he's monkey.
I think this was I think Shark Tale was one of his underrated films.
Ooh, oh, you want to go foreign? That's kind of it's like an action comedy. Kung Fu Hustle came out in 2004.
I like that movie.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
It's been so long since I've watched that one.
Shaolin Soccer.
Shaolin Soccer. I loved that movie as a kid. That movie was hilarious.
Yeah,
the trailer has one of the best uses of everybody was kung fu fighting. I freaking love that movie. That movie's hilarious. Yeah. And I didn't appreciate it as a kid because it had subtitles.
Right.
But I still loved it. I thought it was hilarious. No, if you want to go foreign, there's some really good comedies that came out around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. I could. I just saw one.
Well, if you want to talk about another horror movie that's so bad it's laughable, you could talk about the remake of the Haunting in the early 2000s. with Owen Wilson.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie.
No, but it was funny.
It was really bad.
It was really funny.
I-
Yeah. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Come on, man. That's the best part of the movie.
I saw the movie and I don't really remember it. I know I saw it.
don't remember it. I think I've watched it.
So hold on. I actually do have a question. If we're talking Catherine Zeta-Jones and we're talking the 90s and early 2000s, does Mask of Zorro technically count as a comedy? Or is it more of an action film? Because it has some very
action film.
Yeah, it has some very good comedy in it too.
Oh, the one with The Haunting, the one with Liam Neeson. I remember watching that. I actually liked that.
God awful. It does not hold up at all.
It doesn't hold up at all, but
no. Owen Wilson has one of the goofiest deaths in the entire freaking movie.
Mask of Zorro, I wouldn't say it's got comedic moments.
Yeah,
but it's definitely action driven.
Oh yeah,
but it's fun action. It's like
it
was like fun for the whole family. Like the whole family could go see that movie and be totally fine.
Well, except for little Timmy, who's about age 6 and saw a decapitated head in a jar.
Yeah, whatever. You got to explain that shit to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
fine.
Well, it's rated PG-13 for a reason.
I think on that same line. If we're going to go that Wild Wild West.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, I'm of the same mentality. That movie did not age or hold up at all.
It wasn't meant to be made. It just wasn't.
So you want to know what's funny about it, though? Here's the funniest part of the entire movie. It didn't even happen in the movie. You remember that giant mechanical spider and how it came right the fuck out of left field? You know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
You know where that came from? The producer of that movie was originally going to produce Superman Lives with Nicolas Cage playing Superman. However, this is what Kevin Smith has said. When he was doing the rewrite, he was brought on, and the producer said, he can't fly. I don't want to see him in that suit, and he has to fight a giant spider.
Okay.
So that movie fell apart, and then that producer kept hopping to other movies until he finally landed on Wild Wild West, and he's like, I want a giant mechanical spider. And they said, okay. This is the funniest thing of the entire movie.
Wow.
Doesn't even happen in the movie. Also, I find it funny that you have a drunk Kenneth Branagh attached to that movie as well.
Yeah.
You could tell he was sloshed throughout that entire production. It's like, this is so beneath me. I could be doing Hamlet right now, but no, I'm stuck with this fucking bullshit.
Oh man, like what was like what's his name? The guy opposite of Will Smith.
I know who you're talking about. I always forget his name.
I can't remember his name either. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline. Dude, Kevin Kline was... You want to talk about a really underrated comedy. If you're going to go Kevin Kline, A Fish Called Wanda. I fucking love that movie.
Great
movie. Movie's
movie.
hilarious. And he's one of the funniest parts in that entire movie. Like, the movie's so underrated. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in that. You have him. You have John Cleese. Come on, man.
It's a fantastic film.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not for the kiddos, though. At all.
No.
The movie that is for the kiddos that Kevin Kline is in is The Road to El Dorado. Came out in 2000.
I always forget he's in El Dorado because it's Kevin Kline and I believe Kenneth Branagh as well.
To me, I love that movie. That was one of my favorite movies, Road to El Dorado. That is a classic D&D story. That's a classic fucking D&D story.
That's a good point.
We're both playing Spaniards.
Yeah.
And one of us is playing a horse.
Why do I feel like the horse in that movie was the prelude to the horse we got entangled?
It probably was.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Man. Horse entangled might have been the
entangled
of El Tivo.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, that may actually be the case. That would make sense. Yeah. I feel like El Dorado is one of those. It's like it's the right, or it's not the right in between, but it's like right in between whether or not it would work in animation better or would it work in live action better.
Ooh, I honestly, as much as I love it the way it is, I think
it would work better in live action.
I would love to see in live action, of it, but who would play the characters though? That is such a
Chris Pratt, as the blonde. I forget the blonde's name.
As Tulio.
Tulio.
No,
Chris
Miguel.
Pratt is Tulio.
Miguel is the
Miguel.
blonde one.
Yes, Chris Pratt is Miguel. I think that would be hilarious. And then opposite of him for Tulio,
Ooh.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom
Tell me that's not perfect. Tell me that is not
What is
perfect.
he-
Chris Pratt, Loki.
Oh.
Loki and Chris Pratt. Like Tom
Oh.
Hiddleston and Chris Pratt as Tulio and Miguel. That would be
I
perfect.
don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I think it'd be hilarious.
I'm just imagining him holding up Chris Pratt and going,
Yeah.
he doesn't understand pry bar. It's a dumb horse.
The question is, who would you get to play Che?
Oh.
Ooh.
Chell, you mean?
Chell.
Chell?
Yeah, Chell.
No.
Chell? Ooh.
Yeah. That's the toughest casting. I would say Zoe Kravitz wouldn't be a bad choice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a really good one, right? The only other one I would say, who am I thinking of? I still think Zoe Kravitz would be a really good choice. I really do.
I don't know. It would have to be the right casting if they were going to do
Yeah,
that one.
I agree. I definitely agree. But I think you could definitely work with it.
Mhm,
It could definitely work in live action.
mhm. Definitely for sure.
Also, let's talk about the biggest earworm of that movie. It's tough to be a god.
That is
Such a
Great
great
song.
It's
song.
already
You
stuck
gotta
in your
love
head,
that.
isn't it, George?
Love that song.
It's tough to be a god, but if
I-
you win, no,
Don't remember.
you don't remember.
Oh,
No, I've only
Yeah.
seen the movie once, and it was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I've never been
yeah.
big on animated Disney movies.
Well, what's
not
funny is that was
Disney,
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks.
It's a DreamWorks film.
Still haven't been big on those either, unless it was
Fair
like Pixar. I get into. I really like Pixar, but
There you go.
for some reason,
I
I've
think
seen
you
this
would
one.
like Road to El Dorado. I think you would really like it.
I do
if you
too.
watch
The
it again.
soundtrack is by Elton John. You know, it's
I don't hate that.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
Elton John does the
soundtrack is
soundtrack.
amazing.
It's Elton John, and who else did he work with on Lion King? Because it came out very shortly after Lion King. It came out in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was those two. They did the
It's-
soundtrack for it.
It's stuff
Yeah.
like this that broadens my horizons. So
Yeah.
now I gotta,
No, dude, I think you're
Yeah.
sleeping on a lot of DreamWorks animated properties. Like
Mhm.
freaking you have Road to El Dorado, you have The Prince of Egypt, which is one of their most underrated movies. I
Mhm.
will stand by it wholeheartedly. It rivals Ten Commandments. It really does. It's the same
Yeah.
story, but it absolutely rivals Ten Commandments.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember watching Ten Commandments. I liked Prince of Egypt, even though like it was better than Ten Commandments. I still didn't care for it, but I still liked it.
Ten Commandments is an absolute classic for 100% a reason, but I would argue it still is the better movie. Like as film cinema, yes, it is definitely better. But as like I would say for enjoyability and rewatchability, Prince of Egypt definitely beats it.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So
Another comedy, Kazam, the genie.
we're not getting into Shaq, man. Everything he did was a comedy.
I know, that's
Even
why.
Steel. Oh man. And you already see the look of death we're getting from George here. Or is it look of confusion?
Confusion.
Confusion.
Kazam, it was a rapping.
I know
genie
what it
and-
was.
yeah.
I saw it, and why?
Because it was one of those movies that was so stupid, it was funny.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Steel.
Steel.
Fucking dumb. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched Steel. I don't think I
Oh.
watched.
Don't.
No, go
It's-
see it
it's
right
not-
now. After
Yeah.
this, go watch it right
Yeah.
away.
Maybe. Yeah. That might actually not be a bad idea. No. Oh shit. I was trying to think what would be really good because you were bringing up Big Fish. I still think Big Fish is considered a comedy.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's a drama comedy.
It's a
for
dramedy.
sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a dramedy.
yeah.
And there's plenty of good dramedies, I would argue. I think Be Kind Rewind is considered a dramedy.
Definitely.
Yes.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Yes. Another really good one would be, I would say, Love Actually. Well, Love Actually is more of a rom-com than anything else, but
rom-coms still fall under that umbrella.
They do?
I think they do.
Oh, you want to talk about a really good early 2000s rom-com? The Proposal.
Fantastic.
I love that movie. That movie
was
is
a good one,
so
yes,
fucking
yes.
funny.
A
So
90s
amazing.
one is,
So many good rom-coms.
a 90s one is Grumpy Old Men. That one's a good one.
Dude, I
Love
forgot
haven't
about
seen
Grumpy
that
Old
one.
Men.
I haven't seen
Grumpy
that
Your Old Men. I like that one better. Like I think they just got
They got
better as
more
they went.
way raunchy on the second one.
Oh,
Oh,
for
100%,
sure, yeah.
but I still liked it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one that I think a lot of people slept on or have forgotten about it. Secondhand Lions.
That is an amazing
That
movie.
is
I
such
love
a good
that
movie.
movie.
That
One
is
of
a
my
great
favorite
movie.
voice actors is in that movie as one of like the thugs in like
Yeah.
the store, and I didn't realize it. Travis Willingham's in that, and I didn't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
it later. And he gets punched in the face. at one
Yeah,
point.
you have
I don't think
Michael
I've seen that one.
Caine.
Oh, Secondhand Lions,
Dude,
such a
Yeah,
great
that is a
casting.
gold movie.
Yeah, it has Haley Joel Osment in it as well. I think he was a teenager or he was a preteen when the movie was
Mhm.
filming. So, it's a really good. Is it considered a comedy? I'm curious now.
I think it's a comedy.
The part where they're sitting on the porch,
It's
with
a drama.
shotguns, like
It's a drama.
Yeah, it's considered a drama by a lot of people.
whenever like they're
There's
sitting
some
on the
good
porch
comedy
with
moments in it,
shotguns,
though.
There's
just
plenty of
shooing away like the salesmen.
All the
That is one of the
salesmen
funniest
that were
parts.
coming around, that was great. I
Yeah.
love that scene.
How
No,
have I not seen this movie?
I'm surprised you haven't. I mean, granted, I
Michael
stumbled
Caine,
upon it.
Robert
With school.
Duvall.
Yeah, Robert
Mhm.
Duvall and Michael Caine.
Oh, I feel shameful.
Yeah.
Iris
It's-
Sedgwick.
Such a great cast. Such a great cast.
Oh, such a great
Um,
cast. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I
Yeah.
thought it was my favorite. One of my favorite scenes was when the kid plays with the lion in the cornfield and everyone's going over with the guns. And you got the
two little kids.
All this big ass shotgun, and they're like, if you don't get, and the mom's like, if you don't get rid of this lion, we're never coming back. And the guy's like,
Lion
I
stays.
guess it's staying.
On face, yeah. Oh man, that freaking movie! I'm telling you, that's definitely a
such a
comedy
great
with some
comedy.
heart. That is
Mhm.
definitely a
Even
comedy
though
with
it's
some
considered a
heart.
drama, I consider it a comedy because
Yeah.
it has such great
It's a
moments.
dramedy. Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, back
definitely.
onto Big Fish, man. I'm telling you, that's another Tim Burton classic. I feel like that's one of his most underrated movies.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's so. I mean, granted, I feel ashamed that I didn't find out what it was until I was a sophomore.
Mhm.
I was a sophomore in high school, and then one of my teachers, she had a DVD copy of it. She's like, "I'm getting rid of it if you want it." I'm like, "It's Tim Burton. Fuck yeah, I want it." And I watched it. And I'm like, "This is the most Tim Burton movie I've seen, and the most non-Tim Burton movie I've seen. This is such a good mesh." It's also
Yeah.
technically a part of his Circus trilogy with Danny DeVito. Technically,
That movie emotionally broke me.
yeah, I saw your TikTok about that.
Yeah.
That's such a that I would say if I had any way of like connecting that to something similar would be my grandfather. That was one of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
absolutely. That stuff. I still freaking I love that movie, and that's such a good Ewan McGregor performance too.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Billy Crudup does fine for what he has in there, but like
He doesn't
Albert
have very
Finney-
much.
yeah, Albert Finney steals the show with that.
He
movie.
does.
He is so freaking great, and then it's such a shame that he ended up being in drag in Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. I'm kidding, it wasn't him, but it looked a lot like him. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a character in that Wicker Man remake that looks a lot like Albert Finney in drag.
I've seen that movie, but I don't remember it very well. I didn't,
Hold on.
because when I watched it, I was like, "Cool, Wicker Man remake," and then I was like, "This sucks."
It does. It is a terrible movie.
And I was super gung ho for it. It had Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Right.
Freaking
There's a lot of movies like that. I found it funny, but I know a lot of people didn't. It was, believe, early 2000s. Could be, I know it was before 2010, but it had great moments in it. The Hellboy.
I would say
Not
that's
the
like
newer
a
one.
not
It's
the newer one. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
the
The
older
original
ones,
with Ron
yeah.
Perlman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue that's like a Del Toro staple. Is you think you're gonna get this like over the top, serious kind of like goofy-ish. No, you get some outright comedic moments in those movies, and
Yeah.
honestly every Del Toro movie except for Pan's Labyrinth, in my opinion.
Mhm.
You almost
I'm gonna
always
get me
comedic
big
moments.
baby.
Yeah,
Big ass fucking gun.
gun. Yeah, yeah. You woke the baby.
I really
Yeah.
like that movie. Like both of them.
Yeah, they're really
Mhm.
good. Even though they're more considered like horror comic movies, I'm like, but they still got good comedic moments. And
They got
Hellboy
great
2018 did too. Yeah,
I
don't-
still haven't watched that one, so yeah.
it's not the worst, but it's not the best. There's some really good moments, and there's some really bad moments too. It has like its biggest problem is the writing is inconsistent. And part of it is once you know what went on behind the scenes, you completely understand why the movie is as much of a mess as it is. And that's because there was studio meddling out the fucking ass with that movie.
Love that.
I hate it when studios fucking mess with shit. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
David Harbour walked off set like 3 or 4 times because of the fucking producers. And the director got in a screaming match with one of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was bad. The fact that we got at least halfway decent of a movie that we did surprises me, and I'm so fucking sad we're never gonna get another chance to go into that world, because they have a really good design too. Also, come on, you don't get Thomas Hayden Church to play a character called the fucking Lobster. Come on, man. Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, I would say check it out just to see like a different interpretation of Hellboy. But good, no going in that it was studio meddling out the ass, and it is very choppy.
That makes me so sad. I know.
Yeah,
it really sucks when studios mess with movies that you know are going to be golden films.
Yeah.
Well,
and my thing is, I still went out of my way to go get it when it came out on disc. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I still want to own this movie just because I like Hellboy, you know, and I like David Harbour. David Harbour was a great casting choice. Ian McShane as Professor Broom, that was phenomenal. You had Mila Jovovich playing the main villain. That was a really good casting choice.
I love her.
Yeah. You know, like you have so many right things.
Yeah.
And I forget who the director is. It's the director behind Dog Soldiers.
I don't think I've seen that one either. But 3 really good ones too.
Neil Marshall.
It was a Neil Marshall movie.
Oh, they really messed that up.
Oh fuck yeah, they did. Yeah, but I would still check it out just to see what we got, because it is a hard R rating, and I
don't know if I can watch this now, man. Like now that I know that
I know.
You know,
so
I'm
bad.
surprised we didn't bring it up when we were talking about Jim Carrey. Bruce Almighty.
I fucking love Bruce Almighty. That movie, in my opinion, still holds up. That movie's freaking hilarious.
Absolutely.
I don't like the sequel, but I love the
Evan Almighty was not god awful.
It wasn't as good. It just didn't live up to the expectations. You know?
Yeah.
But one of the best comedy scenes out of Bruce Almighty was Steve Carell's scene where he's controlling his talk.
Yeah, that one.
That was great. That was the best part.
He's just like sitting there typing like random things, and then he's just suddenly like making the faces off screen.
Oh man. That I still think that.
And Morgan Freeman does a great performance in that film.
Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman is God. I think I would argue is like this what kind of solidified him as like, oh yeah, he's the go-to if you want like an all-powerful being. You get Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a benevolent, all-powerful being. You're gonna.
Another reason why I brought that up, I actually just watched Ted 2 the other day on Netflix.
I fucking love. Yeah. Ted counts as an early 2000s movie.
The first one,
yeah. I fucking love Ted. Ted's hilarious.
I just remember like when they're in Morgan Freeman's office and Ted's just like, I want to sleep on a bit of your voice.
No, it doesn't actually.
2012, yeah.
2012, yeah. Fuck. Just on the cusp.
We're gonna let it slide.
Yeah, we'll let it slide.
Yeah, we'll let it slide.
It's so freaking funny. No. Guess what a name is? White trash name. And just go.
Lists off names.
Yeah, and it's like, wait a second, was it any one of those names where with the word Lynn after it? It's like, it's like, oh, you motherfucker, I got you now, Tammy. Like, it's like, then he says the name. Fuck.
And he can still do it. Like he still does it. He can still pull it off.
Oh my god, yeah. No, I would love a Ted 3. Come on, man.
I would too.
3. I think they were talking about making a series for a little while too, like a TV series to go to Hulu. I never heard anything about it after we talked about it.
I heard about it. I've heard
Yeah,
that
because we
too,
talked
and
about it and on the podcast, and I never
Are we
heard
sh-
anything after.
Are you sure that was it before I came on?
It might have been actually, yeah. It might have been
Because
like an
I
episode or
actually
two
do
before
remember
you did.
hearing about a TED TV series, but I've heard nothing about it now.
It was after Disney bought Fox. They were gonna make it a Hulu series.
I would have loved a freaking TED series.
I would have too.
A lot
that
of
would have been hilarious.
Like, I wouldn't even care if it was animated. I would love it.
unfortunately, a lot of projects, they get brought up and they die pretty quick.
That's
somebody
true.
can't find the funding or an interesting studio and doing it. It's great to see people involved and want to do these things. Like, I see so many new projects come out, I report on them, and then fucking god,
They're just
Yeah.
about the Sly
Right,
Cooper
dude.
movie. Like, they came out with an amazing
yeah,
trailer
yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
And never went anywhere.
and never went anywhere. I remember they were gonna do that. Yeah,
I still have all those games, and I'll replay them occasionally.
yeah.
It's like it
No,
was a fun
man.
one. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another project where that happened, but
Oh,
I
there's
think
there's a few. There's quite a few.
so. You said for the last bit you have one that's like a number one on your list kind of thing of early 2000s and 90s comedy.
Yes. So this is a comfort food movie for me, and because it's so not far from the truth, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, Waiting.
Yes. Yes. I love that movie. That movie is so fucking good.
I haven't watched
Still Waiting
that
is okay. Still
I've never
Waiting's not
watched
bad.
Still Waiting. I've watched Waiting.
Waiting
I've
is
never
so
watched Still
funny.
Waiting.
I love Waiting.
Oh.
Waiting is so damn funny.
That's
So-
such a great movie.
When I worked in a restaurant, we didn't show each other our genitals,
Yeah.
but we had another game that we played, and it was coming up with creative ways to hit each other in the balls.
Yes.
So the one rule was, if you were carrying a tray of food, you were off limits. That was the
Yeah.
one time that you were off limits. Any other time, you're fucking fair game. So we took napkins, like cloth napkins, and we would take them and we would tie them together and then tie the end into a knot. And then I would, like, while somebody was walking in front of me, I would wrap it around them to hit them in the front.
Oh.
Gotta get clever sometimes.
It was an awful, awful, awful game. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm going to have testicular cancer from it. I got nailed plenty of times, but that was the stupid game we played.
You always find the stupid game when you're bored, man. It's not. Yeah, I heard it's worse in the military.
Oh, I don't
Like,
want to find out. Yeah,
no,
I'm
I
good.
don't either.
No.
Yeah.
Or
No,
high
but-
school football locker room. Like,
Fuck! Don't remind me. Jesus fucking Christ! No. I'll tell you the amount of stupid shit I had to go through, but I'm not gonna say it on here because that we'd be here all night.
Mhm.
But no, Waiting is fucking hilarious, man.
Waiting
I love
is
that
a great
movie.
one. That is
I would say a good one to like branch off of that if you want to go a little bit further back is Office Space.
Yeah.
Staple of the fucking 90s.
don't think I've watched that.
But no, yeah, no, that movie is so it starts off to where you're like, I have certain moments where I'm like, okay, I'm chuckling, but there's a point where it just hits the ground running and it is so fucking funny after that. It is just nonstop laugh after laugh after laugh after laugh. I love that movie. And I struggle to remember anybody's name except for Milton. Yeah. They took my they tried to take my stapler and I told them no you cannot have the stapler. I brought the stapler from 3 Death Over.
I'll
And they
put
keep-
strychnine in this guacamole.
Yeah. the printer scene, man, alone is
Easy load letter. What the
fucking
fuck
classic.
does that mean?
No, I'm talking about when they're beating the shit out of it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, I can't listen to Still by Ghetto Boys without immediately just thinking.
Yeah,
scene. Yeah.
when they gave up, when they licensed that song for those parts, I'm like, you guys put in hardcore gangster rap
Uh-huh.
in a mostly Caucasian movie with these like very violent scenes on a printer.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
dude, like it's genius. It's genius.
For those of my my late 90s and early 2000 babies that don't know what we're talking about, there's a scene that I know you will know what I'm talking about. That was a parody of it. And that was the episode of Family Guy where Brian and Stewie break Peter's surfing bird record. And it's the exact same scene. Verbatim, minus like they cut out some of the words for TV. But like that is literally the exact same scene. And it was from Office Space.
Oh man, Office Space now.
Office Space is so damn funny. And what's his name? Who played his neighbor, the construction worker?
Oh,
what the fuck happened to that dude? He was so funny.
He was hilarious in it.
Yeah.
He was in that show with Drew Carey for a long time.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know recently he's
Drew
done
Carey show.
Yeah, the Drew Carey show. I know recently he's done the Harley Quinn show because he voices Batman.
Does he really?
Yeah, he voices Batman in the Harley Quinn show.
Great show too, by the way. Great show.
Oh yeah. I think it fell off after season 2. Granted, I think it's because they waited so long in between seasons that I have to rewatch the whole thing.
Lawrence
was
name?
so fucking funny, and he was in the Country Bears movie from Disney. He was one of the cops.
That was actually a very underrated Disney movie. I felt.
Yeah,
it had some good comedy though. It had some good comedy moments.
It did actually. Yeah, it had some good comedic moments in that movie, and Christopher Walken saves that movie too. This isn't over, bears.
He does a ton of voiceover work.
Oh, dude, he has a fucking he has the voice for it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Diedrich Bader.
Oh man, Diedrich Bader. I fucking love him.
Space Force, Pete the Cat, Masters of the Universe, Scooby Doo. Like, this man is a voice.
Just about everything.
Big
Just
Hero
about
6. Yeah.
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 Dude has a voice.
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude.
Oh, there's a good comedy TV show, Animaniacs. Granted,
Animaniacs, yeah.
watching that as an adult
It's 10 times funnier.
oh yes, because
Look for prints. No. Fingerprints. No.
Yeah, no. Hello, nurse.
Oh,
Good night, everybody.
I remember watching the show as a kid. I fucking love this show, and I started watching it. It was on Hulu, and I'm like, why the fuck was I allowed to watch this?
Yeah, no.
Same with Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. So funny enough about both of those shows, there was a point where it started off as a kid's show, but then a lot of parents either complained or it switched studio hands. With Animaniacs, it switched studio hands. It was originally on WB Kids, and then it switched over to Fox. And Fox Kids let him go fucking nuts. And that's where you get a lot of their raunchy stuff, a lot of their political stuff that they would make fun of. Like, they almost went on par of, like, it's like a kid's version of South Park, but with Warner Brothers characters on Fox. And it's like the biggest freaking connuption you can think of. Ren and Stimpy, I think, originally was on Cartoon Network, and then it went over to Adult Swim. Or it was on Nick. One of the two.
It was on Nickelodeon.
It was on Nickelodeon, yeah. And then
Yeah.
it went over to like something else where they made it completely adult oriented. Funny enough, it's actually the same guy who voices Ren and Stimpy. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the same guy. And
Saves money.
I'll tell you what's even funnier about it. You know who else he voices? Philip J. Fry of the Planet Express crew. That's
Really?
the same guy. And I'll do you another one. I'm gonna make you really feel your 90s. Doug Funny.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Really. Yes,
Holy
really.
shit.
Heifer from Rocko's Modern Life. Same guy. I shit you not.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh man! Wow. No, that's
It's
crazy.
when it comes to voice actors, it's so amazing what you can deep dive into
Oh yeah.
and end up realizing that you never knew, like, that these people voice so many of the characters that you've seen. And then there's some famous actors that you don't realize they've done a ton of voiceover work on stuff you've seen.
My big shocker was Johnny on Bosch, who played Adam in the Power Rangers series. He plays Ichigo in Bleach.
Yep.
Yeah, I never knew that. I'm like, holy shit.
So his name is Billy West. He has done. Apparently, he did Scooby-Doo Curse on or Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Great
He's
movie.
done a couple of stuff. He did a couple of the Tom and Jerry movies. That's interesting. He played somebody in Rayman, the animated series. Obviously, he was in Futurama. I think he mostly plays like side character. Apparently, he was in Total Drama Island.
Okay.
Didn't know that. But obviously, like his biggest roles are Doug Funny, freaking Philip J. Fry, and Ren and Stimpy. I think he was apparently he was in Cat Dog as well. But yeah, that's a different. Story.
That's another good.
Comedy. Dude, we could talk about Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network in the '90s all day.
Oh,
but
yeah, 90% of it was just Rob Paulson anyway. So
yeah, that's true too. Yeah, Rob Paulson was. If you didn't have Rob Paulson attached to your show, you were doing something wrong.
If we didn't have Rob Paulson, we wouldn't have gotten Carl Weezer. It would have been awesome.
Carl Weezer and freaking you wouldn't have gotten Pinky.
Pinky, yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't have gotten Pinky. You wouldn't have gotten Wacko Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten. He played Raphael in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then in the one on Nickelodeon, the newer, not the newer one, but like one of the newer ones, he plays Donatello.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, the one where they like first de-aged April, like down to like 16 or something. It had like this, like, it was like really big. It has a freaking phenomenal soundtrack or theme song. I love that.
I haven't seen any of the new TMNT shows.
It's not bad. It's one that's considered like one of the best from the fans. And then of course Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has that like anime style where it's like very stylized animation, but it's still 2D. Mm-hmm. And that one I heard is really, really well done.
I was just going through Rob Paulson's resume here. He's voiced so many characters.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Rob Paulson's like, there's a reason why his name is well known. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I consider it one of my go-tos for comedy movies. The Princess Diaries movies.
The first one, yes. The second one has it's really dumb, really, really fucking dumb moments.
It's dumb. It does have its dumb moments, but
I always forget Chris Pine's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always forget. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here, man? Seriously, you had better shit. Go do that. Like, come on. Also, John Rhys Davies is the villain. I'm like, come on, man.
They're making a third one.
Poor Gimli. This was better than this.
Yeah,
John Rhys Davies was. Yeah, they're making a third one.
They're making a third Princess Diaries, and Hathaway and Julia Roberts.
No.
Yeah, they are.
They haven't announced anybody who's been They haven't announced any of the cast. They just said we're doing a third one. Oh, they're returning.
Yes.
I thought last I heard there was no official whether or not they were returning or not.
Anne Hathaway is the one who said that they were doing a third one, and Julia Roberts, or
Julie Andrews.
Yeah, Julie Andrews. Yeah, they were the ones that said we're going to do a third one.
I don't hate the idea. Just make it good. That's my only.
Yeah.
That's my only.
Don't mess this up.
Don't mess it up. That's basically it. You already have your low bar of Princess Diaries 2. You know, and then you have your Princess Diaries 1, which has some heart and it has some good comedy. Either go to that or go above it. Don't go below. If you go below Princess Diaries 2, you have set the bar so goddamn low that I'd be surprised how you can dig yourself out of that one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you've set the bar so far below what I expected that we're gonna need James Cameron to get his fucking submarine and pick it back up and drag it up there.
Oh my god, dude!
It's a deep cut for any of my South Park fans. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
so many great comedies.
Oh man, so many of them. But with
the 90s and the early 2000s had so many. They're just gems, you know.
Oh yeah.
Things that even some of them that didn't, stand the test of time, like we're still gonna remember them, you know.
Yeah, exactly. there's like we agreed, there's some parts in like Ace Ventura that didn't age well. There's plenty of parts in Scary Movie that did not age well. Like half the shit with Doofy is still fucking hilarious, but it didn't age that well.
No.
It's like that's what a real man smells like. Oh, you smell mine. It's like, oh dear God, what is that? My ass. Oh, I'm sorry. That shit's freaking hilarious. He's still one of my favorite characters from that movie, Scary Movie. Like Anna Faris is great, but Goofy was so goddamn funny.
I think most TV shows, movies from the 90s do not age well just because of the way the jokes were made back then, but they're still hilarious and feel good movies.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean,
even though that,
just like people, comedy evolves.
Exactly. And sometimes it de-evolves, but we'll get into that another time. That being said, we have been going for almost 2 hours. I feel like it's a good point to wrap this up because I feel like at this point we're kind of grasping for straws and trying to figure out whatever else we want to talk about. But of course, this has been SnodaReels. I've been your host, Black Chef 56. Let us know down in the comments below a SnodaReel that you would like us to talk about, whether or not you liked any of these movies, any movies that we forgot about. And of course, I've been joined by TheRealCinephile, aka George.
Hello.
Be sure to check him out on TikTok. We will actually go ahead and put his link in the description below, and hopefully he will be joining us on the podcast. We don't
Absolutely.
know yet.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was an honor to be with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we dig your setup. You actually have a better setup than me, which I've been kind of the bar of everybody. John has a good one too. He's working on his, but yours
I just got the guitars in the background. That's
and the giant stack of foam panels. But
listen, I'm working on that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a project.
And then Leon's just looks like he's in the office somewhere.
I mean, I could set up all my Transformer figures and stuff like that, but that'd take me hours, and I would need more shelves.
There you go.
Do it. Just do it. Do
it.
I have to literally take all my D&D stuff down, like all my dragon statues down. It'd take forever.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. But of course,
maybe I'll throw Unicron up here because I do have a Unicron.
Do it.
Absolutely. And of course, speaking of which, we were also joined by DJLionheart, aka Leon.
Always stay nerdy.
Feels negative without you, Leon. We can't have any SnodaReel or any SnodaCast episode without you saying, and remember, stay nerdy. And of course, we were also joined by Watsonandoff, aka John.
I'm coming undone.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's always a metal song for me.
It's always going to be a metal
line
song.
From a metal song.
Absolutely. And of course, once again, I've been Black Chef 56. All right, we'll call it a drool. And this has been a SnodaReel, and we'll see you all later.
Hello everyone, this once again is Black Chef 56. If you like these videos, be sure to check out the playlist for SnodaReels. And of course, if you want to get some less in-depth thought processes on other topics, be sure to check out the podcast. We'll be dropping episodes every Saturday. Thank you all. Be good people.